The Toyota Tundra has a legendary reputation for being one of the most reliable and durable pickup trucks ever made. The truck behind me is a 2011 model, which I bought new 10 years ago. It has 93,000 miles on it. It's currently my dad's truck, and we've both owned it for its whole life. It's now going to my uncle, and I bought my dad a smaller truck because he's getting older and he doesn't need the big work truck anymore. I'm so glad this truck is staying in the family. And if you've seen some of my other videos on my channel, you know how much I really kind of am attached to this truck. I find that the Tundra kind of evokes two different reactions from people. One reaction is that, oh my gosh, that's like the most reliable, durable truck. I love mine, or I want to get one. The other reaction is that, well, it's really, really outdated. I mean, the other full-size trucks, the Ram, the Chevy and GMC, and the Ford have been redesigned 2 or 3 times within the span that this exact same truck has been sold by Toyota between 2007 and this year, 2021. Now for 2022, we have a new Tundra coming, and rumors are that it's going to be turbocharged, it might be a hybrid, it's going to have all sorts of complication, and everyone, including myself, is wondering, is it going to be reliable and as durable as Toyota trucks have been in the past? Only time is going to tell on that. But what I want to do today to celebrate sort of the 10 years that we've owned this truck is to go through the truck with you together and tell you the features and things that I love about it the most. Now I'm going to have another video on all the things I don't like, and that's a pretty long list. It's not really huge serious stuff, but there are things I don't like about it. But today we're going to do the positive stuff. What are the things I love about it, and why am I so attached to it? Hi everyone, this is Ian. This is Big Rock Media, so let's get started with the tour. Okay, so as we're getting started here, before we get started, let me know down below in the comments, what are the favorite things about your Tundra if you own one? What's been your favorite things about the truck? So let us know down below in the comments, and let's have a discussion about it. Now to talk about the first thing here, I'm going to go ahead and pop open this big old hood, if I can find the hood release here somewhere. There we go. Because I want to talk about not so much the engine specifically and how it performs, although it does perform well, and we're going to talk about that in the drive, but the reliability of this truck. I have another video out there that's coming out soon, which is how is this truck held up? What's the wear and tear over the past 10 years? But to sum it up briefly, nothing has worn out. The only thing mechanically with this truck, the original battery lasted like 9 or 10 years. We just replaced it. But that's not the fault of the truck. Batteries have a lifespan, and I thought that was a really long lifespan. It has had some brake jobs done. We have kept all the fluids fresh, differential, transmission, oil, coolant, all that stuff. But zero mechanical issues with the truck ever. It's never left anyone stranded. It's never had any issues. And it runs as good, if not better, today than when it was new 10 years ago. So the reliability is definitely a huge strong point of this vehicle. It's overbuilt, and we're going to talk about some of the strength things that they put into engineering it. And again, you know, I may sound like a Toyota fanboy when I'm talking about this. I'm not. I don't have brand loyalty. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I actually bought a Jeep Gladiator instead of a Tacoma because I think it's a much better vehicle. But I do appreciate this generation of Tundra for just how durable and reliable they are. They do have their downsides, and I'm going to have a whole video on all the things I don't like. I mean, if you have a truck to do work, if you're a carpenter, if you haul stuff, if you tow trailers, if you have a business where you need the truck, you just don't want it to break. You don't want to spend time in the shop and money fixing it. And if that's your goal, then I think a Tundra of this generation, 07 through 2020, is probably the best bet that you could possibly have. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about is the strength of the truck, and what I mean is kind of the engineering and how things are built. So let me crawl underneath the truck to show you something here. So if you look at this Tundra really closely compared to a typical half-ton truck, you'll see that the Tundra is built heavier. Look at that rear end. Look how big that differential is. Look at the suspension components, the braking components. Everything is built just a little bit heavier duty than a normal half-ton truck. And I know this from experience, having owned, you know, most of those other light-duty half-ton trucks. You have to read some of the literature, which I'll show here in the video because I still have the brochure. You know, truck manufacturers love to brag about how much their truck can tow or haul or whatever it is, their payload. But on a truck like this, I think the nice thing is you can be confident that you can actually max out those limits without damaging the truck. So for this next segment, we're going to have to jump inside the truck. So go ahead and follow me, and we'll go ahead and go inside and take a look at the interior. All right, sitting inside the Tundra, what I want to talk about here on this next favorite thing I love is the interior space and the interior storage. Now, yes, we know that all full-size, modern-day half-ton trucks, especially with the bigger cabs, are really roomy. And that's definitely true with the Toyota. But what I like about the Toyota specifically is that everything's really easily laid out. The controls are easily laid out, but the space, I mean, look at the dual glove boxes. That's really, really, really nice to have dual glove boxes like that. The center storage is gigantic, and you can configure it in different ways here. You can see plenty of cup holders everywhere, little cubbies to store stuff. You've got this thing for like documents, or if you want to kind of hide your phone or your wallet, kind of like a hidden storage compartment. You can see, there we go. Plenty of storage like in the doors. I mean, just tons of room. It's a very easy truck to live with day to day. So this is the double cab model. Let me jump back here to show you what I mean. So I'm sitting here in the back of the double cab, and you can see this is what you would consider like an extended cab truck, but this is plenty big. Look at the knee room I have, and I can fit my shoes under here. I mean, I could ride back here all day in absolute comfort. The packaging is really incredible on this. It's not like an extended cab truck that you might be familiar with, where you're sitting like this. Plenty of room. So they did a really good job designing the double cab version, and that's specifically why I bought this truck. I didn't want the Crew Max, because on the Crew Max you're forced into the shorter bed. I wanted the 6.5 foot bed, but I also wanted to take 5 people, and this truck does really, really well at that. Okay, for this next segment, let's go ahead and go for a drive. Follow me along into the truck. We'll go take a drive, and we're going to talk about the engine and transmission performance and the gearing and some other things I really love about the Tundra. So let's go for a drive. Okay, we're in the Tundra. Let's start this bad boy up and go for a drive, and we'll talk about a few other things that I love. Now you notice when we start up the Tundra, it has a really loud engine sound. What you're actually hearing is the fan. It uses like a mechanical fan clutch instead of like the newer electric ones that modern vehicles have. So it gives that loud roar when you start up. That's normal, but it's pretty loud if you're not used to it. All right, setting off in the Tundra. I've gotten used to the mid-sized trucks lately because I've been driving my Gladiator, and I've been driving my dad's new Frontier. So this truck is a little bit larger than what I'm used to. So as we're driving the Tundra, I want to talk about the engine. So Toyota offered a few different engines in this truck. They had a 4-liter V6, which I haven't seen too many trucks with. That's more like a work truck thing, but I guess you can get that. They didn't get much better mileage than the V8, and I think a lot of people didn't want that. And then they had, I believe when the Tundra first came out, they had the old 4.7 V8, which was legendary for reliability. Then they brought out a newer, Toyota had a newer engine that they were using in Toyota and Lexus products, the 4.6. The 4.6, I drove that when I initially bought this truck, and it was a very smooth, very quiet engine, but it didn't quite have the punch of the 5.7. The other thing I looked at with the 4.6 was that it didn't really have better fuel economy. I mean, maybe like a tiny bit. Turned around here by some road work. What I was saying was the 4.6 V8, I think a lot of people didn't take that engine because when you look at the fuel economy of it, it was only like 1 mpg better than the 5.7. The 4.6 had good power numbers, and I think it proved to be a pretty reliable engine. But a lot of people are familiar with the Tundra with the engine that this one has, which is the 5.7 V8. It has dual independently variable valve timing, which helps with the power. The things I love about this engine are a few things. One, we've talked about reliability and durability, which is huge on this engine. It never seems to break, never burns oil, never seems to have any issues. The power and torque. So the power is 381, and the torque is, I think, 401, if I'm right. So those are good numbers. Even by today's standards, those are good numbers. Now, of course, we're going to talk about the terrible fuel economy in another video where I go through all the things I don't like about the truck. And we know that that's what it is. But going back to the engine, it builds its torque at a real low RPM. And I'll demonstrate that here when I have some open road. But it's very torquey at lower RPMs. You don't need to rev the crap out of it. Although it does rev. It does sound pretty nice and aggressive, and it does rev out. But it does have really good low-end torque. Now, another thing I want to talk about that I really think they did right on the Tundra is the gearing. So the gearing they put in these trucks, at least if you got the so if you got the V6 or the 4.6 liter V8, the smaller V8, you got like a 3.90 rear end gearing, but with the 5.7 you got a 4.1, a 410 rear end. And if you know about truck stuff and differentials, basically it's a lower gear, which is better for hauling and towing weight and moving heavy things comes around. It also gets you off the line faster, makes the truck accelerate better. Now it does hurt fuel economy, but the reason that I like the Tundra having the 410 is they designed this truck to do work, to haul weight in the bed, to pull trailers, to do things like that. And having the 410 rear end, even though you've only got 6 gears, which back then, keep in mind, was quite a bit of gears for back then. Nowadays, people have 10 speeds and all that, but 6 speeds was pretty good back in '07. But with the 410 rear end, you get really, really good pulling power. And for pulling trailers and weight, which I've done with this truck quite a bit, it never feels out of breath. It always feels like it has plenty of torque. Now, same thing with every truck. If you go putting on gigantic tires and things, you're going to affect the gearing. But with the stock tires, I think are around 32-inch tire on this package, and it pulls super, super strong. No complaints there, and I really like what they did with the gearing. So let me show you what I mean. And combined with the 410 gearing, it really pulls strong. So let me just put my foot to the ground here. Oh yes, there's 60, 65. Got to brake for the corner. So you see this thing, I mean, the transmission's responsive, and this engine is a beast. It really can move. Now, you can literally watch the fuel needle go down when you drive like that, which, is true on any V8 truck. But yeah, the engine's super strong, and, there's no complaints there, except for the fuel economy. It is no slouch. And it gives you a nice V8 sound. It's not the best sounding V8 engine I've ever heard, but it's okay. It's not bad. Yeehaw! I'm going to pull back into my driveway here, and one thing I want to talk about is, and this is important especially for me because I live in the mountains where we all have these small driveways, is the turning radius. And one of the things I love about this Tundra compared to any other truck I've driven is the turning radius. Even with the 4-wheel drive on this truck, if you watch like how tight I can turn this thing is really, really impressive. It actually turns better than my dad's new Frontier, which I was hoping with the Frontier being smaller it'd be easier to maneuver. But the Tundra has such an incredible turning radius that I mean, gosh, I can't do that. I've had all sorts of different trucks in this driveway, and I can never turn around that easily. So that's really impressive. Another thing I love about the Tundra is the durability of the materials inside. So this interior shows very, very little wear. I do have a video coming out kind of highlighting some of the wear spots, but it's extremely, extremely minor. This truck really is like stepping into a brand new vehicle, especially if I took the time to fully steam clean it and detail it, which I want to do, but I don't really have time right now. But yeah, the durability has been great. I mean, nothing's worn out, nothing's collapsing, nothing's rattling, 0 rattles or squeaks after 90,000 miles. So really impressive the way that it's held up. One thing I forgot to mention when driving the Tundra is I really like the 6-speed automatic transmission. It's made by Aisin, which is owned by Toyota, which people have mentioned in my other videos. The transmission shifts smoothly and has been super, super reliable for most Tundra owners, and is something you don't have to worry about braking, which is more than can be said for a lot of other manufacturers' automatic transmissions. So wrapping up into the final thoughts, I think that if you're looking at one of these trucks used, you really can't go wrong if you accept the relatively sparse features and the sort of bad fuel economy. Make sure to buy a truck that's been well maintained with service records, and it'd probably be better to buy from a private party rather than a dealership because you just don't know what the truck has been through. Please watch my video next week because I'll be going over everything I don't like about this truck, and surprisingly, it's actually a pretty long list of things that I don't like. Thanks for watching. Please remember, I don't have sponsors or affiliate links or any of that spam nonsense, so please help me out by hitting a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Thanks again, and we'll see you in a few days.